Mauricio here again, and I have brought Holly.
Hello.
So a bunch of you watched my video unboxing the Brickmania B-17G bomber model and asked about a build video, so that's what we're going to do. I have the empty box here, so here it is again for reference. We've laid out the first bag, and so what I want to do is basically a video for each bag, otherwise it's going to be one really long video. Maybe every couple of pages sort of step in. I know some people like the speed builds where you do the time lapse. I just don't find those terribly useful for kind of appreciating the model, so hopefully this will work out well. So part of the reason we're doing this is that we're attached to this model of plane. We've actually flown on B-17s 3 times, and those were
the Liberty Bell, the 909, and the aluminum Overcast.
So yeah, we've been on all 3 of those planes. They were neat. You can do that too. Well, 2 of them at least are still flying. So you can look up how to do that.
You can go to bomber camp for.
Yes, we got this at this shirt and this shirt actually at an event called Bomber Camp, which is where we flew on the 909. It's basically World War II training, airman training. Recreation basically, and you spend a few days there, and of course you get to fly in either when we went there was the B-17 option as well as the B-24 option, so that was a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll inject some history into this while we're going through it, so let's get started here with bag number 1. Okay, so here is a little card in the bag, shows us what bag number 1 will be. We've already sorted out all the pieces and completed the first 2 pages, which is 13 steps. So I'm showing you the instruction book here, at least for this first part. I am not going to show it to you as we go along because Brickmania doesn't want this stuff copied. They don't put the instructions online. They want to keep this for whatever reason. It's up to them. It's their decision to make it a trade secret.
Intellectual property.
Intellectual property, indeed. So I'm not going to show every page, or really much more than this, unless there's some steps that are interesting. But after 13 steps, this is what you get. I can fortunately still fit it in my hands. This thing will be getting bigger, but clearly this, as you saw in the bag card, this is part of the nose. What I can identify is this little printed piece here is supposed to be the navigator table. It's actually really, obviously this is a custom print. It's really nicely printed. There's a little compass there and a map of, I don't know if you can see it, but it's supposed to be the England and the continental Europe where the B-17s would be flying. So that's very cool. It has a nice, almost a texture on it. So this is actually a pretty cool little piece.
And we think we know what we're seeing here. We think that this is the little area that goes underneath the pilot seat that you sort of have to squeeze on through and be limber to go into the area that's got the chin turret and possibly the nose gun and definitely the Norden bomb sight.
So yeah, one thing you may notice our hesitation here. We actually are not really. I don't know. I think Holly agrees. But once we start building, we don't like to look at the thing we're building.
We don't want spoilers.
Right. So it's kind of a surprise as we go along. So if it seems like they should know what that looked like, I mean, just look at the picture. We're actually not from this point on. We're actually not going to be looking at the pictures. I don't know if anyone else builds like that. I mean, I'd be very curious to hear. Tell me in the comments if you build like that. So. Like for example, I don't know. I guess this is for this part that's spinning must be for the top turret, and the pilots are gonna sit here, somewhere up here. But anyway, we'll find out as we go along. This is going to be the front of the wings. But yeah, this little space here, you have to get on your hands and knees on all 3 planes that we flew on. We took a little trip to the nose, which is a great view. When you're flying, it's kind of hard to get through there, especially if you're wearing. I can't imagine getting through there wearing a flight suit and everything. It's really cramped. Okay, so there. I think that's all we want to say about these first 2 steps. Let's keep building. Okay, here we are at the end of step 15, which is actually each of 14 and 15 were quite a few steps on their own. So it's not really just 2 steps. There were a bunch of sub-steps. So what's happened here is this side panel has gone on with some windows. And, like I said earlier, we have been in this part of the plane before, and there are, in fact, windows there. I thought they were a little bigger than that, but we'll see. Also, the pilot and co-pilot seats have now been installed. It says U.S. Air Corps on it. I honestly don't remember. Do you remember if that actually said that on the seats?
I don't know, but it was at that point it was part of the U.S. Army, so it was the U.S. Army Air Corps.
Yeah, Army Air Corps. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. This now definitely looks like part of the top turret.
Yeah.
So up here at the front,
The thing that made precision daylight bombing possible.
so this is the and there is now a tiny Lego Norden bomb sight. How cool is that? So yeah, very very cool. So this is also the nose. I will say that I'll go ahead and pull out the instructions for this. For better or worse, the transparent pieces don't show up very well on these printed instructions. So there's the nose cone part, and you can barely see the pieces there. So anyway, I know what the official Lego instructions, I don't exactly remember what they look like, but they are definitely more visible than that. So just a word of caution, if you actually get this and build it, you may have to look at it really closely under good light to see what's happening. But as you probably guessed, there's something that's going to go under here, and that is the chin turret. So here's the chin turret. We haven't attached it yet.
And specially printed by the good folks at Brickmania.
Brick Arms.
Brick
actually.
Arms, sorry.
So yeah, these are Brick Arms, custom air cooled, air cooled 50 caliber machine guns. So that's what those are. So we're gonna stick that on this piece. I don't know what you call this piece, but I'm sure you've seen it before if you've built a lot of Lego.
Large turntable. I would
So
call
yeah,
it.
and it swivels around like so. It's very nice. Very.
They feel like Legos. I mean, obviously it's the same plastic, the ABS,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, this feels wrong to my hands that are used to touching lonely Lego.
Yeah, specifically these pieces. Obviously, the rest of it is Lego, but these are custom parts. Lego does not make these, as far as I know. So it just feels like Lego, and this spins somewhat freely, as you would expect if you're familiar with that turntable part. So yeah, let's keep going. Okay, now we're up to step number 18. We haven't attached these pieces yet because that way you can still see inside, but we've got crewmen. So what do we got here?
Engineer, pilot, we've got co-pilot off camera, and we've got the navigator, and then the bombardier here in front of the Norden bomb site.
So this guy is not actually, there's no place for his butt to attach, but that's okay. So he's a little bit loose in there. And we left the pilot out so you can see the...
No, that's a co-pilot. I told you the pilot was in.
Oh, okay. Is the pilot on? I can't remember.
Yeah, the pilot's always with the plane. Come on.
Okay. So here's the one of the officers, and you can tell by his hat. Very nice printing job, I will say. There's some printing on the front, obviously, on the back, and even a little bit on the arms, on the front of the arms. So yeah, you have 5 of these figures, which are the officers with the hat, and 5.
No, there's 4 officers.
It's 5. It's 5 and 5.
Oh, okay.
In this set.
Okay.
Yeah, so the engineer is not in this case considered an officer. He has a different hat.
Okay.
And he's actually seated here in the top turret. I didn't realize there was really a seat here. So anyway, so there's 5 of each of these. I think it's kind of a lost opportunity here to maybe make some heads with masks. So this is also a good time to mention what they would have to wear. So
70 pounds of suit and things to keep you warm, and then they had heated padded things underneath and warm socks, and of course when they got up really high they couldn't breathe, so they had to wear masks.
So they could have had printed heads with masks. Maybe even the suit is actually, once you're fully suited out, is pretty big. You almost could have had a piece over it. But that's I will say these guys barely fit in here as it is. So this works out fine. It's okay. In fact, I'll show you. Here's the part of the cockpit with the yokes and the very nicely printed instrument cluster. It's not all the instruments, but that's all that's on that printed piece. And then we have a little throttle, and also
This tickled me. Oh no, I broke it.
yeah, the steering columns move in and out a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to show, but it was very clever. It has playability. I don't know if you want to turn your kids loose on it.
So these actually, the real yokes are not all the way around. It's sort of like a half circle or a semicircle, but
It's cute. Come on.
They chose to use wheels for this. At least not the planes that we flew in on. So we left this off so you could see. This is actually ends up being a really tight fit. So there it goes. So there's, I can't even have the minifigure, can't even really have, I don't know if you can see that, but can't even really have his arms out. But that's okay. He's in the plane. The glass is right up, this transparent piece is right up against his head. So yeah, anyway, I also left off this panel here just so you could see. But it's actually, this part is a little tricky to build, but it comes out real nice and it just snaps right on there. That's it for this step, and we've got, I think, another couple of pages, and we're done with bag 1. Okay, we are now at the end of bag number 1. This is now we're up to step 21. So here's what we did. We put this covering over the bombardier and the navigator, and we put the sort of the roof, I guess, to the cockpit. We're also building out a little bit here on where the wings are going to be, presumably. And I gotta say, it's a really tight fit in there. So yeah, it's almost like the real thing, really cramped. We also have the first decals, stickers rather. So here they are. There's a
number of kills.
Number of kills, a tally, or bombing runs, I guess, perhaps. We also have here the sticker for Brick Built Betty. So that's what this plane is called. It is called Brick Built Betty. Here again is the sticker sheet. And the other option is Sassy Siskind, which you can see right there. The text for it, and there he is, Dan Siskind in all his glory.
No, he's wearing something just like she is. Yes.
He's wearing something.
Something.
Yes.
Yes.
And now, unfortunately, we also have every Lego builder's nightmare.
Now, okay, we recently built the new Millennium Falcon, and so if this is a Lego set, we know that maybe this is okay to have left, but like 2 of them, no, and then these 2 pieces are definitely too big to be left over. So this means we've made a mistake somewhere. Oh, I see. No, that's the back of this. No.
Maybe, I don't know. So we're gonna give this a once over. Yeah. It's possible that these are extra pieces.
We already found one little mistake we made earlier where things weren't fitting quite correctly. So this thing happens when you've got a big complicated model. They did label this 5 stars for impossible.
Impossible, but we are up to the challenge.
Yes, but I really like about this plane how it's very rounded and it looks plane-like. I mean, it's they've done a good job getting the angles correct, which has got to be a pretty challenging thing to do.
There you go. That's it for bag number 1. Stay tuned for bag number 2. Thanks for watching.